Hello, ladies and Germans. How you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And guys, we're back for some more of the PDX Steel Division Normandy 44 tournament. We're back on the beaches today. Rang, who do we hear with us?
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have AmberT as the Polish Armored Division. And on the right-hand side, we have Zhuko as the 716th Infantry Division.
Now, what clan does AmberT belong to
He
here, Rang?
belongs to RKKA.
Okay, that's for those of you
Okay?
out there. Well, it's a little bit of a joke, I guess, on the last cast we just had going on here. A little bit of an oopsie, but let's avoid that for right now. So it's Omaha. We're back. It's AmberT,
Mhm.
Zhuko Dim. Two names that you said you know AmberT pretty well. You said, yeah.
Oh yeah, AmberT, I remember him from Wargame a lot, and same with Zhuko as well. I mean, Zhuko also been playing a lot of Steel Division, a very good player. And well, we're going to see how it goes because we've got two rather more unseen divisions. Don't see 716th all that much. Same with the Polish Armored.
Why is that?
I know Polish Armored is pretty fun to play, and both these divisions do have some new units to toy around with. Poles with the new Firefly, and Zukadimri is a very good 105 light howitzers, but Poles don't really have that veterancy with their units, and some
Mm-hmm.
people just want the high star 2-star Shermans. While 716 is if you get some good artillery pieces, you are very easily countered. Well, not as much anymore as the 105 guns do allow you to do some counter battery, but it's a very slow division. You can't really do any major advances. It's like Luftwaffles in a sense, where you do have to be defensive in a
Mm-hmm.
in a ray.
It doesn't look like Zhukodim is really going to take that to heart, though. He's
No,
pushing on forwards as much as he can, and I can't say I blame him.
no.
Starting off, we are going to see two stewards as well as was that a Cromwell over there? Yeah.
Yeah, we got Stuart Cromwell, so a pretty sizable Polish force. I mean, you do want to be using those tanks to try and break through the 716th line.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Now,
yeah.
what do you think about this early start over here for the 716th? I mean, we're seeing only a little bit of, of anti-tank, unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we got a Panzerschreck here, yeah, and Panzerschrecks are going to be very useful in the right hands, as most people don't really suspect Panzerschrecks, to be entirely honest. And if Zukanim can knock out the tanks, he should be able to move through with infantry with some good old fire support, because the tanks are really going to be the scary thing that Zukanim has to deal with.
Gotcha. So you're saying that if he doesn't take care of it, his own prospects at victory might be a little bit dim.
Yeah,
But he does take out a Cromwell early on.
first kill is well, damn.
That's a big help right there, I would
Mm-hmm.
think. I mean, that Pack 40 is rather nifty piece, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good opener to get out Pack 40, because it doesn't just act as a very powerful anti-tank weapon, but it can also blow up infantry units. A 2-in-1, an absolute bargain.
True, and at the same time, though, he is engaging the other steward, and frankly, he's got the accuracy and he's got the power to take it out, and does so. Wow.
Damn! Oh, that was some
That's a
bad positioning from AmberT.
indeed. I mean, if you actually look to the south, we have a pop gun down there facing off against that steward, but two tanks in the north already going down. What do you think? North's going to belong to Zhuko?
Yeah, I mean, we got some of those Polish rifles, the Strelczyks, which are
Mm-hmm.
pretty subpar, to be entirely honest.
Uh-huh.
And Zukadim has the fire support here, because all of the fire support from AmberT is now dead. Those tanks are really the mainstay of his forces.
Now, you're noticing, I guess, over here with AmberT, he's not rolling with any kind of real leadership on the field, be outside of those command stewards. Is that a mistake?
Phew, yeah, I mean, at least one leader unit in that town would help. He did have that command steward before, but now it's dead. And I always recommend having at least one infantry leader unit when you're doing a big infantry push, even if you do have command tanks nearby, as it's just a little bit more reliable and cheap, very cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Sounds like it. In the meantime, by the way, Pack 40 is going to engage that Cromwell that is realizing he left his stove on. He's going to go take care of
Yeah,
that real quick.
and I'm thinking for AmberT, what would be a really good unit for him to get is that he can get an A-phase Sexton. And let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you, Con, an A-phase Sexton is fantastic for the pose, especially against 716th, because it's all soft targets yet he has to worry about. And the Sexton has a lot of ammo, and it can easily deal with these Pack 40s and all that other stuff very easily. And he needs these anti-static weapons, anti
Exactly.
like mortars and stuff, to deal with Zukadim's just field guns. and
Now, we are going to see
infantry.
a couple more field guns being brought on into the north. There's the IG-18s, I would think, unless my eyes...
Yeah, the
Yep.
IG-18s, and good choice. They are
Well,
very damn good.
he's starting to form his own artillery parks, though, too. And with
Hmm.
the infantry in close support, I can't help but think that Zuko Dim is... he's got this thing well in hand.
Yeah, I mean, your Stroopen, even though they are disheartened, at long range, they do beat out Strauchkis. Even in close range, they have a pretty good shot, as the Strauchkis only have one submachine gun. So, it's looking pretty well from 2. He does have the point advantage just by 10 points, but still, that's quite a bit.
Sounds about right. Okay, so you said Sexton's running down Holy Fire to kind of go and take out a lot of the 7/16th positions.
Hmm.
What about Shuko Dim? How does he go and just kind of continue to build on his current success?
Just get AT guns, keep knocking out the Cromwells, and then just using fire support, IG-18s and artillery to battle array, and slowly advance and take the next point. Because really the next part that Zukatim are going to take is this town at with the Strochkis up north. He's already starting to attack with some Ostrupen, but really that stack count will be the real pain in the butt for taking said town.
Sounds about right. But we do have, like I said before, the IG-18s coming on in. Artillery Park is getting formed, and I can't help but feel that 2 of these by themselves would have been enough, and he's bringing up twice that.
And it's a little bit overkill. I'm not going to lie, maybe a mortar piece would have been a good thing to spread it out, but I think Zukadim, he just wants to spread 75mm love all over. Direct fire, you know? He doesn't want to send it express post across the map. He wants to make sure it comes right at your doorstep.
Well, he's a giver, you know? He's a
Yeah.
lover and a fighter.
He's a lover and a fighter and a lot of big boomers.
Oh,
Or
big
medium-sized
okay, well,
boomers.
so you're telling me that size does matter in this case?
Size always matters, can't. Even if people tell you size doesn't matter, it does. They are just insecure.
Oh, you
Or
told
they
me
have
she
a Hummer.
lied. Good to know. I'll keep that in mind. But here we are. We are going to have that pocket of Polish infantry starting to get pinched out a little bit. We've seen a lot of guys getting pinned here.
Yeah, I'm really surprised you haven't seen a single Dragoni, which is like the Polish motorized infantry. They would help out a little bit more, but it's all Streltsky. It's all just regular rifle guys, and regular rifle guys aren't that great.
Exactly. I mean, the Sten guns, like you said before, the Stens are pretty darn good in close combat, but you have to get in
Yep.
that 100-meter range.
Yeah, and even then, Ostrupen have an MP40, so it's pretty much an even Stevens fight, and I'd always take an MG42 over a Bren gun any day of the week.
And twice on Saturdays, indeed.
Twice on Saturdays, that's when I get the Panther Grenadiers out.
That's They're not allowed to play until then. Too busy doing homework, I imagine.
Yep. I do want to note it's a little Cromwell blob, but he's using
Ooh,
it
good
to
point.
slowly break back his Ostrupen a bit, but they're not in the best position because we have this forest blocking line of sight in the between him and the enemy, which the Zukadim's making real good work of, using that to, screen his advancing array and denying AmberT from using his tanks to the full extent.
One thing he's not able to do, though, he's not able to protect that Pack 40. He's just taking
no.
long-range firepower from the HE Cromwell.
Yep.
And AmberT is convinced it's better for him to go Stag Hounds, bringing the second one in on the map right as we speak.
Yeah. They're not, they're a pretty good unit. I find the Stag Hound really weird, because it's essentially a Stuart, but you can get it in the support tab, so it frees up a nice sort of tank slot. And the Poles have that too, of, you have anti-tank guns, or Achilles, or the Firefly, where you can kind of like switch back and forth if you want to save a tank tab for a support tab, or an anti-tank tab for a tank tab. There's a lot of tabs going around. I mean, the Poles have really start opening their own bar.
True. Well, they got to keep tabs on everything, so. So we are going to see a bit of that armor push coming around the center line here, and it looks like at long last the Osttrooper are getting forced back, but for the life of me, I can't recall there being a lot of dead Germans so far. What has he lost? He's lost like a couple of IGs, and that's about it, hasn't he?
Yeah, the Ostrupen are getting pinned down, but they get pinned down easily, that Ostrupen. And this is really just because Zukadim doesn't have the fire support right now, because AmberT is making a pretty good little comeback. Even though the map's starting to go a bit even, 51 to 49. And if AmberT can take advantage of all the army that he has, he can make a good breakthrough. That Cromwell with a 105mm gun, fantastic counter against that Pack 40. And if that Pack 40 goes down, Khan, it's not going to look good for Zook.
That's true. That's a big if, though.
Yeah, it
It's a
is a
very
big
big
if.
if.
That's a very big if. Our Pack 40 is now hidden up behind some tree lines. He's taking a bit of R&R. Not going to be wanting to expose himself on the front line for a little bit.
I do have to note in the meantime, we are gonna have these Panzerschreck team kind of moving up through the tree line, and whenever I see a Panzerschreck team getting aggressive, I have to watch it happening.
Yep, I always see it. That's pretty beautiful. A lot of people underestimate getting Panzerschrecks.
Hmm.
Even in decks where you have like Panzergrenadiers or Panzerfaust, sometimes it's a really good idea because your opponent just doesn't expect the extra range that the Panzerschreck can have. And I mean, what if you spend bloody 30 points to go 120 point tank? Yeah, that's a pretty good investment, Khan.
Sounds about right. I guess he's not going to be too aggressive about it right now, and that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
The Osttrooper being pinned down did kind of give him no leg to stand on. To the south, Poles are advancing like crazy, but to the north we have a Flak 88 is on the map.
Oh wow, big gun.
Super early call in. Maybe is that too soon or no?
No, you can get quite a lot of him in the 7/16th, and
Hmm.
honestly, just have him on the field. It acts as an AA gun, acts as an anti-tank gun. May not be the best choice in the more close-range engagement here, but it can definitely punch a hole through those Cromwells very easily.
Sounds about right. And geez, yep, there we go. Forcing a bailout already, and he's not on Wall Street, but still not pretty.
Yeah.
I do want to make a call out, by the way, as well. A Pac 37 to the north is just firing at those little rink-eating 47mm shells. Damage to the transmission on that Cromwell, and that's just super surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, it does have just enough pen, or a bit more pen to get the kill, but not enough to be entirely reliable. But getting that transmission here is definitely going to put that Cromwell out of action for a little bit.
And we are now into Phase B.
Mm-hmm.
So, do things go into AmberT now, or how does that work?
Where AmberT does have the point advantage and you can start getting some better infantry. I'm hoping we see some Saporachis as they do have, flamethrowers, close quarters combat against Osttroopen. Pretty good counter, but really, AmberT just needs to get some goddamn artillery. This is painful. I mean, he's getting lots of tanks, and you know what? Tanks are great. Tanks are good. I love getting some tanks. But when you're up against the 7/16th, you don't need to get a lot of tanks. You don't even need, like, really heavy tanks. You can just get Staghounds and Cromwells and Stuarts and have a good time. But what you do need is bloody artillery to knock out this 88, the AT guns, the 7/16s, or the IG-18s, the Pack 40s, etc. And I think he's just not prioritising his resources by I mean, you've got another Sherman up north, but I don't think that's going to help out all too much.
Well, especially since honestly that light anti-tank guns. If we're gonna probably watch this, the Panther 35H, it might go down here.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring that tank up against a Sherman, but each your own.
Well, even besides that though, he's happy just to play for time and space. I mean, he's up 600 tickets. He's still got the point advantage under himself.
And he has that town pretty much under his control.
And what's more, that Flak 41's moving up the road as well. A second one being called on in.
Mm-hmm.
But we are seeing signs of maybe an imminent collapse in the center part of the field.
Oh yeah, there's nothing really for the allies at all. But at the same time, Zhuko, he has like 2 Osttroopen, so he can't really take advantage of this gap. And that is one of the problems for the 7/16th Infantry Division, is when you spot gaps like this, you can't just get some Panther 2 Lukes and just rush through the center. You have to slowly trudge your way along at 18 kilometers an hour, which isn't the ideal speed for Blitzkrieg.
True. That is very, very true. Yet somehow, some way, he continues to hold a bunch of territory. Indeed, wow, these Panzerschrecks by themselves controlling what, 3% almost by
no, that's
insane.
Two men holding a pretty decent chunk of the map, and I'm really hoping Zhuko can realize this and start bringing some stuff to secure the center.
Is Zhuko doing that, or AmberT doing that?
Both really. I mean, AmberT really should start sending some defense units. You have a little bit of an attack down Sofio Khan. Got a 2-star Cromwell trying to fend off some Osttroopen, but 7/16th, it's close range combat. They got IG-18s and AT guns in good position, and in this matchup, the Poles really have a better advantage at longer range.
True, true. Now, I'm sure you feel very differently about this, but for me, I always didn't really enjoy the 716th. And I think we talked about this before,
Yeah.
because the infantry just does not have that AT capability. It just
Mm-hmm.
bothers me way too much to not have it.
Yeah, I mean, you do have the Italian guys with the AT, but it
Mhm.
does suck going through a phase, right? You don't have a single, like, proper infantry unit with an anti-tank gun, or anti-tank launcher, I should say. And I get it. They're a very slow division. It requires a lot of artillery, static gunplay, etc. You can't push. You can't be fast. You have to take your time. You're like an old man with a crutch.
Well, they are fighting in the World War One fashion, so that seems only
Exactly.
appropriate, of
With,
course.
with pretty much Road War 1 tanks, I'd argue.
Now a couple quick things in the meantime, though. You did mention the Italian Freiwillige.
Hmm.
But maybe, just maybe, would you think that this game might have gone a little bit differently here had Amber 10 T been a little bit more aggressive early on?
Um, I think he was plenty aggressive. It's just that Pack 40 completely shut him down, and after losing both of his initial tanks, he had to pretty much be defensive, and then Zukadim had the time to gather up forces for a pretty decent attack. And I'm also thinking, just is it a pretty good map here for Zukadim, as it is pretty close quarters, a lot of hedgerow fighting, and a lot of places are put down static anti-tank guns and anti-infantry guns. And that's what Zukadim's doing really well. He's got AG-18s and AT guns all over the place. So if AmberT does decide to do a breakthrough through one choke point or the other, he'll just get shot down by AT. I mean, just look down south. We've got two anti-tank guns here, pretty much covering that one road.
True, true, but I feel like for the longest time, I mean, it didn't really have two anti-tank guns there. Yes, we
Yeah,
had one and we had some Shreks.
and also
But,
just
yes, go ahead.
Also, just thinking about it, these Pack 37s, I mean, they're not the greatest in the road, but when you're fighting against Polish in A phase, the heaviest armor tank they got's a Cromwell. So they're pretty good considering.
True, true. I don't know. I guess for me, I feel like perhaps Amber T was not aggressive enough on the breakout
Yeah.
and just gave away too much of the fine choke points, maybe over to Zhuko.
Yep, and he completely forgot to get artillery. Have not seen not even a mortar this entire match. And if AmberT just got some artillery pieces, start pounding these 88 mils, all the AT guns, he could then pretty much clear the way for him to do a tank breakthrough. But just looking up north, he's pretty much lost all his tanks because the AT guns are stopping him, and
Hmm.
he's just going to be buying more tanks. I mean, he's just throwing tanks against 88 mils, and I mean, some German commanders love that, of course, but it's not
True.
really good when you're on a Sherman.
Quick shout out to my homie there, Rommel, on that one. We
Why
do
don't
have
we point
Pioneers, by the way.
the AA guns down bottom?
What's
That's a
that?
good. Why don't we point the AA guns down? Oh, Rommel, that's a good idea. We should give that a shot.
And they did, and they did.
Yeah, and it worked pretty well, and it's working really well so far for Zugadim, and it pretty much seems like he's going to be taking the victory on this one. And I do want to clarify, pretty much the victor of this match goes on to the next round. So, that will be Zugadim.
Good old Zhuko indeed. I do want to see how many tanks got destroyed here because I've seen there's
Yeah.
what, a dozen that have been called on in, and I see a new Cromwell coming in, I see the Sherman up top. But other than that, everything else has been dead.
Yep, everything has just died. All the Staghounds, the Cromwells, everything's just gone. And I think that most of it's just due to that one Pack 40. He's pretty much been...
A good deal of it. There's
I
also that
think a
Pack
good
40
deal.
to the north and the Flak 41s.
And there's like three Pack 40s up north and then two Flak 88s.
Yeah,
That's
look
so
at this
overkill.
breakout between the two. So,
Oof.
end score, by the way, folks, of course, 918 to 0.
That's not
And
good.
the KD ratio is surprisingly unbalanced.
That's not good at all. And just looking at the yeah, one Pack 40 knocked out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks. That makes him a anti-tank ace in my book.
By anybody's book, I would think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And just he's killed a lot of tanks. And I think that match can simply be summed up. Just buy some artillery, goddammit.
Yeah.
Just buy some artillery. It's just even like a hurricane of rockets, right? No, that wouldn't work because there's 88 millimeters. But just a sexton, some 80 millimeter mortars. You know, just pound away at the soft, squishy target to the 7/16, and then you attack. You know, don't bring a tank in front of an anti-tank gun, especially when there's 3 of them.
True, true. Even if it's one of those pop guns, too. Even if you get close enough, those pop guns will still hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, you don't shoot a pop gun directly at your foot. I mean,
True.
not a good idea.
True, and don't stick your tongue against a frozen telephone pole.
Winter lessons for everyone.
Indeed, indeed. So that's going to about do it, at least from my end. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm good.
Sounds good. All right, folks. Tune in next time for some more of the PDX tournament from Steel Division Normandy 44. This has been Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.